Okay, if anybody's interested in hearing about my bill, step one of the bill is a license or permit to make child abuse allegations. Just like you would have with a gun license, you wouldn't want anybody with a questionable mental status to be making allegations of child abuse, just like you wouldn't want them to be owning a gun. And people should be taking courses or classes in parenting really to prove their ability, but that doesn't necessarily need to be in the beginning. In the beginning, you can just have a license, right? And so if you exhibit a healthy mental status, then you should be granted a license. And then if you have a license and you make unfounded or false allegations of child abuse, then you should get a point against your license. And 3 points would invoke like a 5-year suspension or something like that. And then they'd require you to take child abuse classes as well as parenting classes and a 730 psych evaluation to get your license back. And I mean, parents who actually care about their children will do this. So we'll go through. It's called accountability. That's what it's called. And we have to have accountability in our country. The caseworkers and the judges will also have to have this license, and if they lie on court documents, they should be held accountable as well and get points for their license. And if they don't have a license, then they can't practice as a judge. They can't work as a caseworker, because we don't want people that are going to be lying just to feed the system. And everybody does it. Firefighters start fires to keep themselves working. Auto mechanics sabotage cars to keep themselves working. Well, your CPS workers do the same thing. And it's sad and it's disgusting, but it does happen. And so we do need to hold them accountable. And it's just a fact, And if you're just legislating ridiculous legislation that just band-aids everything, no. We need to actually have responsibility and accountability. Step 2. And some people have tried to say that parents would use this to weaponize against other parents. No, it wouldn't. And step 2 would be, in any and all custody disputes, the child shall remain in a third party's custody, being like family or friends or someone of their culture, someone from their church, someone from their community, someone that the parents agree to them being with, a third party, just so the child doesn't get used as a pawn during the entire custody dispute or child support dispute or whatever. That way the child isn't used as a pawn. No one can use them to weaponize if you're just keeping them away just till the case is over, and that will speed up the case. Parents will want to hurry up and get it done, and they'll also discourage parents from bringing up cases over ridiculous matters. And this is just accountability. And you don't like this and you say they're going to weaponize it, that's because you're a type of person who doesn't want accountability, and we do need to have accountability. The third one, a lot of people in Arizona like this, a constitutional jury. We are, all citizens of the United States, accused of anything, regardless of whether it's a criminal case or not, are entitled to a jury. That's the Constitution. And if you are held to be responsible to the Constitution, then you should agree to this. But if you are a treasonous person that doesn't belong in this country, then go ahead and disagree with it. But this is the supreme law of the land. This is our Constitution. We should have a jury in all court trials. And you say, it's going to crowd up the court. It's hard to get juries. Well, then that would also discourage people as well. But that, nonetheless, regardless, our founding fathers didn't say, it's going to crowd up the case. No, we are entitled to that. We should have that. Otherwise, you're being a tyrannous judge. You're being a tyrannous person. You're ruling with authoritarian rule, and that's not what our country is founded on. And so you can't use excuses. You can't use ambiguities of language and laws to say, we shouldn't have a jury because it'll be quicker. No, that's not what the Constitution was made for. Then social services funding. Right now, social services get funded on a lot of things that they can manipulate. They can manipulate a lot of the statistics. They can traumatize people and then can get them all riled up to where they're having it taken away. It's like, look at how many kids are being abused, And so they can manipulate all the statistics. The statistics need to be like demographics or something like a stale statistic, not something that can be changed over time. And their funding right now is based on performance. I forget where it was I found it, but I do have my research for it. But that's ridiculous. So they're incentivized to cause more problems so they can make more money, just like the firefighters, just like the auto mechanics. And that's not right. And then there's child support insurance, and that's a big one. So all of you that don't like child support causes parents to feud over, I want more money, or I don't want to pay as much, or da-da-da-da. Well, if you can stop all that if you do it like you do unemployment insurance. So you have child support insurance just like unemployment insurance. Everybody has their own income brackets. Everybody pays into it the minute they have a child, and it comes out of their paycheck, and people, oh, well, people won't want to pay insurance. Yeah, no one wanted to pay unemployment insurance. No one wanted to pay life insurance. No one wanted to pay car insurance, but you gotta, and the government forced you to anyway, so why not do the same with child support insurance? We should have it. And that way, the kids will always get their insurance. Because some parents, they're so poor they can't afford it. Well, they can't afford to pay child support, and the kid's not getting it because the dad's working under the table or just can't afford it or whatever. But with child support insurance, the child's always going to get child support. It's going to help a lot of people. And then parents don't have to wait for custody and this, that, and the other, and all these feuding things in court and all that just to get child support insurance for their child. It can come right away because it's from the state. And then you can have programs and whatnot. And then the people that stay together, the state gets to keep all that money, so they can invest that money into programs to help some of the custodial parents go get a job and go to school and get education. And they can fund that with the money that they're making, because they're making more money than the parents that split up. The parents that stick together, they make all that money. And once again, it incentivizes things. So it helps. Like any parent who wishes to participate in the program, we grant the ability to never have their child put in foster care. That would be a good incentive. Say, you know what? And they say, oh, we already have that. It doesn't go, no, because none of the child support counties, child support, are incongruent with each other. They're this county does it, this county does. It's ridiculous. So when you make it a state thing, then say, well, you know what? No parent, no child whose parents have child support insurance will have to go to foster care. If the parents split up, the child will go to the parents, our grandparents, uncles, aunts, friends, whoever the parents agree. And with the money made from the program, like I said, you can give custodial parents grants and vouchers for higher education and vocational training and things like that. But and we should have some sort of Miranda right too, that should be read to parents, and in that way, if the caseworker doesn't read the Miranda rights, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't take it out of court, just like you would for criminals. I mean, why are criminals held more protected in court than parents? There should be Miranda rights too. That holds the caseworker accountable. Like, you better read them their rights, and you better know their rights before you come into their household. So that's pretty much what my bill encompasses.